Springfield, New Jersey. A quiet suburban town where nothing much ever seemed to happen. But in the summer of 1972, that illusion of safety was shattered forever. A teenage girl disappeared without a trace, and when she was finally found, her death unleashed a wave of fear unlike anything the community had ever known. Whispers of witchcraft, satanic rituals, and dark forces spread like wildfire. To this day, the mystery of her final hours continues to haunt the woods where she was found. This is the story of Jeannette DePalma, a story soaked in fear, suspicion, and shadows. 7th, 1972, just 4 days after celebrating her 16th birthday, Jeannette left her home on Clearview Road. She told her mother she was going to visit a friend in nearby Berkeley Heights. Normally, she would have taken the train. But that day, she decided to hitchhike. No one knows why. Maybe she thought it would be faster. Maybe she trusted too easily. But that decision would mark the last time her family saw her alive. When night fell and Jeannette did not return home, her parents' worry turned to dread. By the next morning, her disappearance was officially reported to police. What began as an ordinary summer day had turned into the start of a nightmare. For 6 long weeks, her family and neighbors searched, hoping for any sign of Jeannette. But the trail had gone cold. Then, on September 19, 1972, fate intervened. A woman living near the woods watched in horror as her dog returned from the forest carrying something in its jaws. At first, she thought it was just an animal bone. But as the dog dropped it at her feet, her blood ran cold. It was a human arm. Panic swept through the neighborhood as police launched a massive search of the area. No one was prepared for what they were about to uncover. Following the dog's trail, police combed the thick forest and made their way to a rocky cliff known to locals as the Devil's Teeth. The cliff earned its name because its jagged edges resembled sharp fangs tearing into the sky. At the top of this eerie formation, officers discovered Jeannette's body. She lay face down, dangerously close to the edge, her clothes still intact, her sandals nearby. But what disturbed investigators most wasn't just the body, it was what surrounded it. Arrangements of sticks, crude wooden crosses, and what some described as a coffin-shaped outline. The scene looked less like a crime scene, and more like an altar. Word spread quickly. People whispered that Jeannette had been found in the middle of a pentagram. Others swore that mutilated animal carcasses hung from trees, and that red arrows carved into bark pointed directly to her body. Though authorities denied much of this, the rumors refused to die. Newspapers began printing sensational headlines. Residents whispered of covens, of witches meeting in the forest, of satanic cults performing rituals on the Devil's Teeth. Whether true or not, the story captured the darkest fears of the era, and Jeannette became a symbol of something far more terrifying than just a murder victim. The coroner who examined Jeannette's body was left with more questions than answers. There were no bullet wounds, no knife cuts, no broken bones. Her remains were too decomposed to determine an exact cause of death. Still, he suspected strangulation. Then came an even more unsettling discovery: Jeannette's body contained abnormally high levels of lead. But no one could explain where it came from. Was she poisoned? Was it environmental? Or was it something more sinister? Whatever the truth, the mystery only deepened. There was no clarity. Only silence and suspicion. As the 1970s unfolded, America's fear of Satanism grew. Pastors and newspapers claimed Jeannette was killed by witches or Satanists who used the Watchung Reservation for their dark ceremonies. Her strong Christian faith only fueled the theory that she was chosen as a victim for her beliefs. As investigators tried to piece the mystery together, critical evidence began to vanish. Jeannette's purse was never logged. Her golden cross necklace, which she wore every day, was gone. Years later, police claimed that much of the case file had been destroyed in a flood. Others suspected a cover-up. Could it have been sloppy police work, or something more deliberate? Every missing item, every unanswered question made the case harder to solve. And every gap in the evidence left the door open for darker, more disturbing theories. Decades passed, and the case grew colder. But then, a name emerged: Richard Cottingham. Known as the Torso Killer, Cottingham confessed to dozens of murders in New Jersey and New York. His victims were often young women, sometimes strangled, sometimes mutilated. From prison, he suggested that Jeannette may have been one of his victims, taken while she hitchhiked that August day. The details lined up, but Cottingham was a manipulator, known for claiming crimes he didn't commit. Was this a genuine confession, or just another cruel game played by a sadistic killer? More than 50 years have passed, yet the death of Jeannette DePalma remains unsolved. Was she murdered by a cult, a serial killer, or was her death simply twisted by hysteria? All that is certain is this: the mystery of the Devil's Teeth still haunts New Jersey, and perhaps always will.